Welcome to the Prince Eats. Here's a quick video for simple and easy coconut curry chicken. Ingredients are in the description. If you enjoy this video or find it useful, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let's jump right into it. This recipe is very simple. The first thing you want to do is grab your skin-on chicken and season it very well. Here I'm working with legs and thighs, and in my opinion, I think the legs and the thighs hold the most flavor. Be sure to season your chicken generously. Here I'm using flavors, the traditional chicken flavors, which include chives, paprika, garlic, salt, and pepper. Onions are a must for this recipe. This is a curry dish, so of course there's no secret we're going to use a lot of it. Minced garlic, fresh ginger, chicken stock, and coconut milk. Oil your pan on medium-high heat. Once your pan is nice and hot and ready to go, you can go ahead and begin placing your chicken into the pan skin side down. As you can see here, I'm manipulating and stretching the chicken skin to ensure even searing across the bottom of the pan. We're not going to sear this chicken for long because after all, it's going to finish cooking in the oven. What you want to do here is just sear it long enough to develop some firm texture on the skin. I'm crowding this brazier pan, and normally I would advise against crowding pans, but this brazier pan is so good at retaining its heat that on medium-high heat it really doesn't lose much temperature. It's a heavy pan, it can sustain a lot of the heat, and it has similar production characteristics to a cast iron skillet. So if you have a similar one, don't be afraid to go ahead and crowd that pan. And it works in your favor because you don't have to do multiple batches. If you see here, I have approximately 9 pieces of chicken, and I'm able to sear it all in one batch with it very tight in that pan. After about 5 to 10 minutes, you can go ahead and begin to flip the chicken. As you can see here, in just that short period of time, the chicken is already developing a nice crust and some really good color. As you can see here, I'm reorganizing some of the chicken because I am using the center burner, and on my stove that center burner is linear and it creates some hot zones. So what I have to do, it's a very simple technique, just reorganize some of your chicken and put the ones that are searing a little bit better in the areas of the pan where their heat isn't as hot, and relocate some of the chicken that's not searing as well to the areas where the pan is a little bit hotter. After about 10 to 15 minutes, or when you start to see that your chicken has really good color and texture, you can go ahead and remove the chicken and place it in either a bowl or a clean plate. As I said before, I really advise not to crowd the pan, but I really love this brazier because it's so good and efficient at retaining heat. And as you can see here, I was able to crowd that pan from wall to wall and really get a good sear on virtually every piece of that chicken. We're not going to drain any of that fat or oil, and that fond at the bottom of the pan, we're going to use it to our benefit. There's so much flavor in that. So go ahead and add your onions, and we're going to cook those onions for about 3 to 5 minutes just until they get soft. At the same time, you can add the garlic in the pan and just to give it a head start on that cooking process. After about 3 to 5 minutes, you can go ahead and introduce the curry. I love curry, so I went for a few teaspoons. Certainly you can add more. Obviously add less if you're really not a fan of the heat. And of course the fresh ginger is what you can add into the pan at this point. We need to fry, and as I like to say, activate that curry. So if you need to add maybe a tablespoon more of oil, go ahead and do so if your pot is dry. Cook the curry for approximately 3 to 5 minutes or until it turns really dark. After that step, you can go ahead and pour in the coconut milk. The coconut milk is very full flavor, so be careful not to be heavy-handed with pouring in the coconut milk. Bring it all to a simmer, which can take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. We're in the home stretch, and we're going to layer some more flavor by adding chicken stock. I love to use chicken stock because it keeps you from having to add so much extra salt into the dish. However, one thing I do encourage you to do is, even after you add the chicken stock, once the soup or the stew or sauce, if you want to call it, becomes thick at the end of the baking process, You can always taste the stew or taste the gravy to see if it's seasoned to your liking, and if not, you can certainly add salt by the pinchful. Once you pour in the chicken stock, you can go ahead and return the chicken to the gravy. Cover and place in the oven preheated at 400 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. If you want more texture or crispier skin, like how I have here, you can remove the lid with 15 minutes left to bake. And just like that, you're done. The chicken comes out with great texture on the skin, and the chicken itself is very tender. If you let the gravy cool for approximately 10 to 15 minutes, it'll certainly thicken. All that's left to do is garnish this chicken with some parsley and serve it with some white rice. Dinner is served. Visit theprinceeats.com for more simple and easy meal ideas just like this one.